Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Yapping For Yahweh. My name is Zani. I hope this episode is finding you well, and I hope that you guys have been having a blessed week. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about the importance of godly community and friends, and also just having a look at how we ourselves, as Christians, can be godly friends to those around us. And I thought just before we get into the episode, I'd put a little bit of like a disclaimer out there. My perspective on these types of topics that we will be discussing in the future is obviously just coming from my own perspective and what I've learned and the sermons that I've listened to and the Bible study that I've done and quiet times and things like that. So I obviously highly encourage you guys to dive into your own Bibles, listen to your own Bible study, watch your own sermons, and to touch base on these topics, to also just formulate your own opinion, formulate your own perspective. I thought I would put it here, this isn't sponsored, I really wish it was. I actually use Through the Word. It's this app that I use that does like audio guides on different books of the Bible. I love it. I think it's so amazing. I literally tell everybody about it. So if you know me and you're watching this, you know I literally love this flippin' audio guide so much. And it's been super, super helpful. So that is my little recommendation. If you guys are looking or wondering, where do I even start in my Bible? How do I even educate myself or teach myself on these types of topics? That is a really good place to start. Obviously the Bible app as well, that's like a flippin' classic but like flippin' golden. So yeah, so to start the episode off, I thought it would be a good idea for us to look at some scriptures that tell us and show us how to be good godly friends towards one another, because I think often in the world that we live in, we forget that we are all imperfect human beings who all fall short of the glory of God. And yeah, I just think it would be a good idea to look at what the Bible is saying and also just remind ourselves what type of standard we should be putting ourselves to when it comes to our friendships and when it comes to how we interact with one another and treat one another. So a few verses that I actually looked at and that really stood out to me in regards to friendship from the Bible was 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 11, which speaks about how we should be encouraging each other and building each other up, which I think is so essential, especially because we live in a world that is constantly putting us down. Next would be Colossians 3 verse 13, which speaks about how to forgive one another. Again, super essential considering we live in a world where people say, do them how they do you, which is not the type of culture as Christians that we want to live in. It's not healthy, it's not good for us, it's not good for the people around us. So showing forgiveness, although it can be super hard, is super, super worth it. And another verse that I really liked was John 15, verse 12 to 13, which speaks about showing each other love just like how God shows us love. And I know these things can often sound very intimidating and super scary and oh my word, I don't know how I can do that. Oh my word, my friends hurt me. Like, how do I deal with that? But the more you spend time with God and the more you bring these things to God, the more He's going to equip you and help you to be a better friend, a better godly friend. Especially, He's going to help you to be that difference in a world where, the culture is very much opposite of what the Bible tells us to do. Before we get into the next segment of the episode, which is how to be a godly friend, I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably wondering, Zani, how do I deal with my non-Christian friends? And how do I deal with my friends who don't believe in the same things that I believe in? So I refer to Proverbs quite a bit on this topic, but it's going to sound a bit intense, but just bear with me. I'm going to read the two verses to you. So the first verse is Proverbs 12, verse 26, and that says, the righteous choose their friends carefully, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. And in Proverbs 18 verse 24, it says, one who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. So I know these verses sound super intense, and it almost kind of makes it sound like, oh my word, does that mean I need to stop being friends with my non-Christian friends? And no, that's not what I'm saying. Me personally, I have friends who don't believe in God and who don't believe in church, don't believe in exactly what I do. However, I think I'm super blessed in the fact that they respect what I do and they respect my life and my way of living, which is super rare. But as a Christian, we should never disqualify our non-believing friends. Our purpose and our goal is to always show them love and to always point them to Jesus as much as we possibly can and wherever possible. However, being friends with these people is going to mean putting boundaries in place. And that's okay. Like I said, if they are real friends and true friends, they will understand and respect your beliefs. It's not a matter of they're going to disrespect you and completely wipe you off, because that's not fun either. And it's like I said, I'm super privileged and super blessed to have people in my life who don't believe in God and who don't serve with me, who don't do the things that I do, yet they respect my choices and they respect the way I choose to live my life. And that is, it's very rare. So my biggest thing to encourage you guys is to don't disqualify your non-Christian friends. Always love them, always point them to Jesus, but don't be scared to put in boundaries and don't feel like you need to compromise. If you feel like you need to compromise to be their friend, then I would say, take a few steps back, pray over the friendship, pray for them, and just make sure that this is a friendship that is going to bless you and carry you in the season that you're finding yourself in. So next we're going to be having a look at some practical ways on how we can be godly friends to the people around us. So I'm going to touch on 4 points today, touch base on 4 points. These are points that I've applied to my life and I feel like have made a difference in my life in terms of how I interact with my Christian friends, my non-Christian friends, and just how to go about those friendships. So the first thing we're going to have a look at is prayer. Praying for your friends, whether it's a non-believer or believer. Praying for them is so essential, and we always hear this at church. I always hear this at church, is that if you could see what your prayers were doing, like, you would not stop praying. And I firmly believe in that, and I think that is such a strong and powerful statement to make. And you're probably wondering, well, Sonny, how do I pray for my friends? What do I pray? And I would say you should pray for their hearts to be softened and to open themselves up to receiving whatever is being spoken to them, especially when it comes to people maybe sharing things about God, opening up about their faith, and also just pray that they can see Jesus in a new light. And also pray for yourself. Pray that God can bless you with the wisdom and the guidance and the clarity to guide this friend as best as possible, either through their journey with God or to getting a relationship with God. Second point that I want to touch base on is sharing the word. So this is something I enjoy doing. I love doing it on my social media. Since I'm a very introverted person, I'm not a super extrovert person, but since I'm super introverted, I love to share God's word. And I feel like that is an amazing way to plant a seed subconsciously and indirectly. You're not being super forceful. You're not, telling them you must do this and you must follow what I say. It's just sharing that word of encouragement, whether it's a sermon you heard at church and you message that friend going, hey, I heard the sermon and I thought about you because we spoke about this the other day. Like, little things like that goes a super, super long way. I can definitely testify to that, and it will definitely mean a lot to the friend that you are, reaching out to or sharing this with. My third point is being an accountability partner, especially for your Christian friends. I think it's super important for us to hold each other accountable and keep each other, just living up to the standard that we have set for ourselves. I mean, I know I have people in my life that hold me accountable and remind me, to do my quiet times, remind me, listen, this isn't okay, or what you said here wasn't okay. And that is a super important aspect to have. And I mean, it's always good to surround yourself with people who want the best for you and encourage you to do good things and to live a better life. And then the last point that I want to touch on is setting the example. So the lives that we live is so essential, and in order to spark something, especially in our non-believing friends, we need to live a life that is more like Jesus, and that is by bearing fruits, being patient, being kind, being loving, having self-control, just being able to cultivate those fruits and to bear those fruits and to show those fruits it's so essential, because we set the example. If people see we are unkind, they're going to be like, oh my word, look at her, like, she's a Christian, but look how unhappy she is, look how mean she is, and we don't want to show that to people. But again, I mean, I used to struggle, I do still struggle with lack of patience. I mean, I'm not always like super nice to everybody. I have my moments. I'm a human being, but I can definitely say that spending more time with God has helped me to become more patient, to become more kind, to become more caring, loving, have better self-control. And people see those things, people pick up on that. They go, sure, like, she's so happy, or she lives life so differently, like, what could it possibly be? And that's the type of interest we want to spark in people. We want people to look at our lives and go, oh my word, what is different about this person? And of course our answer is going to be Jesus, and that can just spark and spiral a whole different conversation with the person, which, again, pray that you can be equipped and ready to have that conversation with those people, because it's going to happen, and it's super awesome, it's super amazing, it's super beautiful, and that's what we want. We want to be disciples. We want people to get closer to God or start a relationship with God. Yeah, that is all from me for today, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode and that you found it helpful and encouraging. And yeah, if there's a friend that maybe popped into your mind while you were watching this video, I highly encourage that you guys reach out, pray for them, see how they're doing. It's only going to do more good than it would do harm. And yeah, please leave a like and comment and share this video with your friends. All the support has meant the absolute world to me. I'm so extremely thankful for each and every single one of you guys. And yeah, I will be checking you guys in the next episode. I hope you have a blessed week, and I hope that you guys will never forget that God loves you, He cares for you, He's always with you. And yeah, bye guys!